There are so many different AI tools that you could spend your money on. But wait a second, maybe I can save you a buck. So maybe you're kind of like me. You've been diving into AI tools to see what all they can really do. But you start seeing some of these prices and you start doing the math for each tool that you need to make something useful. Or you think a tool looks really cool and maybe has potential, but you want to at least try it before you buy it. In this video, I'm going to rank 30 different AI tools to see which ones are actually worth the money and which ones perform the way they're intended to. So first on the list, we have Bolt.new. So Bolt.new is a very popular option for you to basically type in a prompt and it makes an entire web app for you. It's kind of incredible. So let's type in a prompt, make me a fitness app, minimal and aesthetic, if I could spell, and it makes you sign in. Okay. As this thing is doing its thing, I don't know if this got any better. It used to be the fact that it would kind of skip up a bunch and not actually complete the projects that you intended. With that being said, it does a decent job for what it is. I do like how they give you a preview of how this stuff works before you have to pay for it. And they also let you immediately deploy it to a web host if you wanted to, and also connect it to Supabase, which is also a really good database tool with a generous free tier. So I'm not too sure if I like the layout of what this has done, although it did make a nice little interactive app for me, and it does save the workout, but it is like a cool proof of concept. Let's check out the pricing. So yeah, there's not too much you can do with the free tier. They give you 1 million tokens to start out with, and at $20 a month, this is not the only subscription that you'll need in order to develop apps. You'll need a different subscription for your web hosting, for your cold email outreach, for marketing in general, your SEO, Zapier, or Make if you want to do automations. This is just one piece of the puzzle, and I don't know if I'm personally able to spend 20 bucks a month, even just on the pro tier. It goes up to $200 a month, which is absolutely insane. But for those reasons, I'm going to put it in the B tier to start off strong. So let's just put it in the middle and we'll adjust it later. Next up, we have CapCut. So CapCut is a video editing software with templates built in for you to easily create content. So they do have an AI generator within CapCut, which is very neat. So it's nice that they do auto captioning. I guess they also filter out your filler words, so like in ums. They have a lot of cool free effects, which I do enjoy. And like I said, their templates are very impressive. Under the templates tab, you can see, oh shit, that kind of scared me. You can see a bunch of different trending TikToks, and they basically made it so that you just put your own footage in there and it edits it together. Very simple, very easy to use. As far as the actual editing software, it's very similar to any other video editing software. Very nice, very minimal. Like I said, they really shine in the effects. So they give you a bunch of free ones, but a lot of them are paid. But yeah, it's that easy to use, drag and drop, and the effects on the video. I'm personally not a huge fan of cookie cutter content with the templates, but I really do enjoy the effects that they have for free. I personally would use DaVinci Resolve, which is also free and also feature packed. So it does have a little bit of a learning curve, but that's just what I personally choose. Because CapCut has an unlimited free tier, I'm kind of leaning towards putting it in the A tier. Next up, we have Claude.ai. I think you actually do need to have an account for this, but you will see the screen once you log in. And immediately you can go into it's down. So they're having some technical issues, so I'll probably just play a little snippet of me actually using it on screen now. Claude.ai, you can put in a prompt and it'll code stuff for you, and you can do amazing things even within the web browser, such as creating an entire game where you collect dots and you grow bigger. So something to keep in mind, you can create an entire Agario for free, and you can have it edit the code and do little iterations and make it better and suit your needs. Oh, well, I just got in. So let's try something out. Code me a web page in Next.js and Tailwind for selling flowers and see what it does. And I do enjoy how it creates the script on screen just as it generates, which is very nice and very pleasing to me. I think one of the coolest features about this is that you get a live preview within Claude, which is absolutely insane. And obviously you got to replace these pictures of the different items that you want to sell, but you can add them to your cart, and it even included the About Us and Contact at the bottom of the page. Very nice. Let's look at their paid tiers. 20 bucks a month is not bad at all, especially because the code that it generates is your own intellectual property and you can copyright it. But the biggest downside I think for this is because there are better options now. We have DeepSeek v3 and DeepSeek R1, which code even better than Claude Sonnet's 3.5, and it's entirely open source and free. So you can run these LLMs on your own local PC absolutely for free. So I personally would not spend 20 bucks a month plus tax on a subscription for Claude just because there's better options, which we're actually going to check out next. So for Claude AI, I'm going to put it in C tier. It's kind of being phased out right now. If they can add more features, that'd be great. However, as it stands, it's being competed by free stuff such as DeepSeek. So on DeepSeek's website, you can sign up for free and you can chat with it for free, entirely for free. And that can't be stressed enough. The only downside to using DeepSeek's website is that it is a Chinese-owned company, and so the Chinese government can at any moment ask for private information. So use an alternative email when signing up for it. Alternatively, DeepSeek is so amazing that they made smaller versions of their models that you can use locally, and it doesn't require a supercomputer to run them. So as you can see here, I'm running DeepSeek R1 Llama 8 billion parameter on my own desktop, and it's using my own CPU usage in order to generate the responses, and it's entirely free. I have a tutorial on how to do this on my last video if you guys want to check that out. But to show you that it works, I can say something such as, write a complex algorithm that can guess a whole number from 1 to 100 in Python with as few tries as possible using higher or lower. So right now it's thinking through the prompt, and then after it thinks through the prompt, it will generate its actual response. The thinking portion is called COT, or chain of thought, where the AI is now trained to think about its response before it actually tells you what it's going to say, which kind of just makes sure that the response is accurate and it makes sense. So this is a dumbed down version of DeepSeek R1. This is called DeepSeek R1 Distill, but it still performs really well and is phenomenal at coding, so you can use this as your own coding agent instead of Claude. I will note, however, this is not as automatic as Claude, so it won't just create all the different websites and different web pages and link them together. So you'll have to learn a program such as Cursor or Visual Studio and learn how to connect all the little pieces together. But once you know the basics, it's pretty easy and you can create full-fledged products absolutely free. That is the important part. Because this is a cutting-edge model and outperforms a lot of the other models that we see that are paid for, such as ChatGPT, I will put this in the S tier. There's just so much you can do with this, especially if you wanted to integrate this within Home Assistant and make your own personal Alexa. That's a cool little project that you can start absolutely free. So up next, we have Cursor. So Cursor is an IDE. It's basically just Visual Studio, but they integrated AI within it to have a little assistant by your side. And Cursor out of the box uses Claude, in which it actually generates your entire project for you automatically, just like Bolt.new. And to start, it's free, but let's look at the pricing real quick. With the free trial, you only get 2,000 completions, which is nowhere near a complete project. However, when you initially download it, you get a pro 2-week trial, which honestly is really nice. I almost wonder if you can keep making Gmails to sign up for Cursor and keep renewing that trial. But the pro, I really wouldn't say is worth it, especially considering other alternatives that are cheaper that we'll talk about later. But the one thing I do like about Cursor is that you can import your own AI that you pay for elsewhere. So if you pay for Claude, you can put in your own Claude API key and not pay for Cursor. Cursor's subscription is basically just providing all these different models for you to use, but if you have your own model to give it, you can pay those API prices instead. So in this case, I have DeepSeek hooked up to my Cursor, so then over here, I can chat with DeepSeek within my IDE, and you can have it generate the code in Python, and then you can copy and paste it over into your Python script and run it immediately. Cursor is the originator of this type of workflow and had a bunch of investors behind it and was the original hype bunny for this entire industry. But because they have a little bit of a brand, they charge a little bit more for their subscription. 20 bucks is a little steep. So with that being said, I'm gonna have to say that Cursor, it's D tier. I would not pay for it, but only because they've included the ability for you to import your own language models and use your own API keys. I think a good follow-up to this one is talking about Windsurf, which is the other coding IDE. So Windsurf is by Podium, and they do give you a free trial. However, their free trial, I feel like, doesn't really give you too much. But the upside is if you do want to pay for a subscription, it's only $10 a month. And right now it's discounted, I don't know why, but usually it's going to be 15 bucks, which is still $5 less a month than Cursor. Windsurf is a little bit smarter and doesn't make as many mistakes, although still not perfect, and that's just the nature of technology right now. They use something called Cascade. It's okay, it's still not as good as DeepSeek, and you'll notice the layout of this entire program is roughly the same as Cursor, and that's because it's literally a copycat of Visual Studio. All these programs did was integrate a sidebar for you to talk to AI, but to a certain degree, you could also just have an AI tab open on your Chrome while you're working on your project, and it's essentially the same thing. Paying Paying for the subscriptions, however, lets the AI auto-generate files, delete files, organize your file project, and basically create all the code necessary for a working project, which is handy. But doing it the free way just includes having DeepSeek R1 on the side and copy and pasting code over, and it's just an extra step. And so if you like the convenience of just having everything just created automatically for you, there's that option. So I do enjoy the fact that it's a little bit cheaper. It's cheaper than Cursor, does a better job than Cursor, and honestly, it's an upgraded version of Claude AI. So I would say that it's in the C tier above Claude. Up next, we have ChatGPT, and this is one that might be a little controversial. So ChatGPT has a pretty generous free tier. They do give you access to GPT 4o, which it's okay, but their flagship model is the O1. They're essentially putting these models that are worth using behind paywalls artificially, and that's just like, DeepSeek R1 is better than ChatGPT O1. Think about that. A free to use model is better than this model that you're paying $20 a month for. And if you want unlimited access, you're paying $200 a month for. And if you were to use API calls, 1 million tokens of input for ChatGPT O1 is $15. 1 million tokens of output is $60. DeepSeek R1 1 million token input is only 55 cents and their output's only $2.19. So it's really a no-brainer here. Yes, I do enjoy the interface of ChatGPT. However, you will not catch me paying for that shit. Up next, we have Flux-ai. So Flux-ai is a realistic image generator, and the stuff that you can do with this is actually pretty insane. You can train it on models of products, and you can put those products in any scenery that you want. So you can put like Ray-Ban glasses or AirPods on the moon and have it look realistic as if there actually are AirPods on the moon, which would make for a really cool ad and very creative one at that. Not to mention, these photorealistic images are pretty damn good to the point where Photoshop skills are not really required. So let's take a look at their pricing. You get 40 credits, so 40 generations probably. Oh no. You could probably get this cheaper on Replicate, a site where you can rent GPUs to run different models from Hugging Face, and it maybe costs you 0.3 cents per image, which honestly is not too bad. On Replicate, you can also train this AI to learn your face and your physique to put you next to Deadpool or flying with Superman kind of things. Actually pretty cool stuff. So if you guys do want to check it out, I would recommend, but I don't know if I would pay for it. So with that being said, Flux, I would put it in B tier. Ahead of Bolt, just because Bolt does have some issues and it's pretty pricey, but Flux really is incredible for what all you can do with it, and that's what drives me to put it in B tier. Next up, we have ElevenLabs. Now, I really do enjoy ElevenLabs, and they do give you a generous amount of monthly credits to start off with, which is very nice of them. They also have this huge assortment of different AI models that people have made of voices. Let's listen to Jarvis.
In the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity.
That didn't really sound too great, but I've been using this top one.
Ses var ya, reklam, haber,
Sounds so good. All you need to do is come to text-to-speech, type in what you want to say, and then down here you click generate speech.
Hi.
And it's that easy. And you can write entire YouTube videos and do faceless YouTube content, and it's free to start off with this so you can experiment with your workflow and see how you could integrate this within your own projects. I personally do pay for the starter subscription. They do give you 10,000 credits per month, and the starter subscription gives you 30,000 credits per month, but it's just so cool what you can make with this, especially with a little bit of coding. You can talk to your PC, have it transcribed and sent into your DeepSeek R1 that's also locally ran, and then import whatever response it generates over to ElevenLabs, and now ElevenLabs will speak that back to you. This allows you to essentially build your own Alexa if you wanted to. And yes, as you get into the business pricing, it kind of gets ridiculous, but I don't know anybody who would need 11 million credits per month unless you are someone like Amazon. Because the voices are just so high quality and it's easy to use, especially with the API integration, this deserves to go into the S tier with DeepSeek. I do wish that there was a local version that you could run so that it's entirely free, but the value that you get with ElevenLabs really is incredible, especially with the different applications you can use it for. Up next, we have HeyGen. So HeyGen is an interesting tool because it kind of lets you have these virtual avatars that speak in front of a camera for you. So you could partner this with ElevenLabs. By the way, with ElevenLabs, ElevenLabs, you can train it on your own voice and it'll match your inflections and all that kind of stuff. So generate the script from ElevenLabs, bring it into HeyGen, and HeyGen will automatically create this video of you speaking in front of a camera using the audio from ElevenLabs. So to get started with HeyGen, it is completely free. Let's look at the pricing tiers. So the free pricing tier is not too great. It only gets you videos that are 3 minutes long, and you can only create 3 videos per month. On top of that, you can only export in 720p, which I do not like. And on top of that, there is a watermark. This is good, however, for actually exploring what HeyGen can do, and also lets you create your own custom video avatar. So the pricing does get a little steep. $29 a month is not great. I also don't like how the 4K is locked behind this custom enterprise sales category. The only type of people that I see this being worth it to are people who are agency owners who are doing advertisements on behalf of companies. They can have the company CEO create little talking head videos to train the AI on. They can create content on behalf of a different company. That would be a decent use, especially if you're getting paid a lot of money for that. But as a content creator, I don't see this being worth it to most people, especially when doing this yourself is not that hard. So I'm gonna have to put HeyGen in the C tier, maybe even the D tier, just because it's just so expensive and you can't do much with the free tier. Up next, we have Google NotebookLM. So Google NotebookLM is an incredible tool developed by Google, obviously. To get started, it's entirely free and it uses Gemini 2.0, which is also free. So basically you can upload PDFs and it'll summarize it for you. You can send it different website links and different blogs, and it'll generate a quick little summary of everything and then also read it back to you if you so wish. Then if you want, you can ask it follow-up questions in which it'll answer your questions from the source material. This is incredible for creating study guides if you're a student, or if you just want to write blogs or digest information faster while you work. You can essentially make it a little audiobook for you if you want to just listen to stuff as you travel or you're doing other things. So I think it's very useful in that regard, as well as keeping track of different notes. So as soon as you open up a project, you can import different sources such as PDFs, Markdown, audio, etc. And you can also provide different links to base its research off of. At the moment, there is a source limit of 50, which is unfortunate. However, I find that you can probably do everything you want with 50 sources. On top of that, this is only a source limit for the actual notebook itself, and you can create a new notebook and have a different source limit. I think Google Notebook Plus does give you more sources to choose from. To upgrade to NotebookLM Plus, there's not quite a pricing guide, as it's based on your individual needs and all that kind of stuff. Because Google NotebookLM does not hold back any features for the free tier, I'm gonna have to say that this belongs in the S tier. I would even put this ahead of ElevenLabs. Up next, we have GoHighLevel. GoHighLevel is an all-in-one CEM platform, meaning customer experience management, or if you want to do CRM, customer relationship manager. It has a bunch of different AI tools to organize your workflow, from sales, from getting the clients in to actually securing the sale. So this is really nice for sales and business development on that end. A lot of people that run agencies use GoHighLevel. However, it is expensive. The starter pack is $97 per month, which is very steep. Then if you want to do even more, you have to pay $300 a month. They only give you a 14-day free trial. Then you're locked out. If you do not already have a successful business, I probably wouldn't recommend buying this. So for that, GoHighLevel will have to go into the B tier. I'm sure it has plenty of features, it's just not for me. Up next, we have Instantly. So what Instantly aims to do is streamline your cold email outreach system. Basically, you can have it scrape for emails, you can have it send out emails automatically on your behalf, and organize different campaigns for different clients. You can even rent pre-warmed emails from their own platform, so that you can ensure that your emails are reaching the inbox and not spam. Let's look at the pricing real quick, and yikes. It is pretty steep, however, they do give you a ton of features. Kind of like GoHighLevel, I don't know if I would recommend this for anybody who doesn't currently own a business, especially because cold outreach is only one small piece of marketing. If you were to spend $30 a month, not only are you only getting 5,000 emails monthly, I think people underestimate how many emails they need to send to have a successful campaign, but there's so many other things, such as when someone actually replies to your email, what's your pipeline to get them there? And for that, you'll probably need something like GoHighLevel to get them from client in to client paid. So I don't know if I would recommend this for a lot of people. Yes, it makes cold email outreach a breeze. However, cold email outreach is not the starting point. So for that, I'll have to put Instantly behind HighLevel. Up next, we have Jan.ai. I'm actually excited about this. I haven't personally used it, although if I understand correctly, it is entirely open source. It's an open source ChatGPT that runs 100% on your own PC, so it runs for free. However, I have heard a bunch about Jan.ai in the past, and it's not a new thing. DeepSeek R1 just came out and does all the same stuff even better, so take that with a grain of salt. I do think Jan.ai is a good introduction to people who want to get into local LLMs. However, DeepSeek does it a little better. For that reason, I'm gonna put it behind CapCut A tier. Up next, we have Make. So Make.com is an automation app that's popular among no-code builders. So people wanting to make web apps that don't require any coding, which is possible, but you're gonna run into hefty fees, a lot of subscriptions, all that stuff. And Make AI is one of those. So yes, you can start for free. I do think Make AI does have the best free tier. So let's look at the pricing real quick. And you get 1,000 operations per month, which is honestly, it's pretty good. However, I do believe every single node inside of your automation system counts as an operation, so it might run out pretty damn fast. But to be honest, if you want to upgrade to unlimited scenarios, or $9 a month is not bad at all. And you can also choose, you can choose different operations per month limits. Pretty cool. And with $9 a month, you get access to the API, which is very neat if you do want to code a little bit. With Make, you have all these different nodes and you can select which node it is and then have each of these nodes control other nodes that you have. And you can make it do some incredible things such as import prompts into ChatGPT, send it over to ElevenLabs, send it over to Calendly to book a appointment for you. You can send it over to your GoHighLevel. Anything that you have an API for, it can communicate within this. You can have a post for you on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So people have made full-fledged apps, like iPhone apps, with this as the backend, and that's incredible. However, when you go to make something like this in production and release it to people, you're gonna be spending a lot of money on the subscription. So for this, I do think Make is a really cool introduction to automation, so I'm gonna put it in the A tier. And I would argue that it is behind Jan.ai, to be honest. So up next we have MidJourney. MidJourney is another image generation tool, and it's pretty good, although I think it's been beat out by Flux. They have some integrations with Discord and all that kind of stuff, which is very useful, but it does get a little pricey. For $10 a month, assuming you pay monthly, you're only getting about 200 generations per month, which is not too great, and they allow you to buy additional credits if you want to top up your balance to keep generating after that. It gets pretty steep. I don't know if I would pay any of these prices just for image generation and not realistic image generation at that. I do think it's a good tool for graphic designers and artists alike to generate inspiration. However, I don't know if inspiration is worth $10 a month. So for that, it's gonna go behind Bolt and behind Flux, because Flux does do it better and I think it is a little cheaper. Next up, we have Omi. So Omi is interesting just because it's not just a chatbot. Omi is a wearable that you put on your body. So it'll keep track of who's saying what, like it has voice recognition so it knows who's speaking when, and it'll record these chats and dialogues that you have throughout your day, and you can ask it questions much like Google NotebookLM, which would be really helpful for things such as meetings. If you're doing meetings and you want to record a meeting, then it can give you meeting notes at the end of it and summarize everything. Omi did change their form factor a little bit. It used to be just a pendant, but now it looks like it can be something that you can wear behind your ear. The downside to this is that you are buying a physical product that probably needs charged, so I would look into the battery life on these kind of things, and it's $90, so it's something to also consider. I do think this is revolutionary in the age of wearable AI. However, it's not quite there yet and it's not released at the moment, so I'm going to put it in the D tier. I do think $90 would be interesting if it worked really well. However, we don't know yet, so I can't make that judgment. And I don't think a lot of people want an AI to listen to every single conversation they have throughout their day. That would make me feel a little bit uneasy. Up next, we have Outranking. So Outranking.io is a AI tool that helps you with SEO. And I have mixed feelings about that already. Their pricing plans are a little bit shady. So if you click this toggle switch, it looks like it's on no matter what, but obviously it changes between the monthly billing and the yearly billing. If you pay monthly for $19 a month, you get 4 SEO documents. If you change that to the yearly pricing, it switches the features entirely. You're paying $25 a month and you only get 5 SEO documents per month. This tool better be the best in its class if I'm paying these kind of prices. On top of that, why is the yearly billing not discounted like it says it is? So I think they maybe got a toggle switch reversed here, which is not a sign of a quality product. The reason why I said I had mixed feelings about this in the first place is because SEO is not too difficult, and you can use something like DeepSeek R1 to generate SEO-ready prompts for you, and it's also just a knowledge base that you should have when you're making content in general, and that's just a skill that you should learn from YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I would tell you, this is something you should learn yourself and not pay for. So outranking will easily go into the D tier. Next we have OpusClip. OpusClip is an interesting one. It uses AI to piece together your video and remove all your bad takes and all your filler words, and will take all your long form content and make shorts out of them if you want it to. This will save you a bunch of time, but let's look at the pricing. So to start, it's 15 bucks. I do like how the pro tier right now is on a 50% discount, and it's also 15 bucks. If we turn off yearly, okay, it goes away. But this isn't too bad. Each minute of video is 1 credit. If you want to turn your podcast into shorts clips, you're going to be running through these credits if it's having to process more than 2 hours of content. On top of that, I don't know how good AI would be at actually doing this editing and making a complete project. You might still have to edit it in CapCut or DaVinci Resolve after the fact, which isn't really saving you time at that point. I do like how it takes out the filler words and all the bad takes and gives you suggestions on that front. With the free tier, you do get 60 credits per month, so you can at least try it before you buy it, and also you can export up to 1080p, which is really nice, especially compared to HeyGen. The bad part in the free tier, you can't do any editing, and it has a watermark when you go to export it. On top of that, after 3 days, your clips are no longer exportable. So can you make quality content without paying for it? Probably not. You're gonna have a watermark on it, and it's not even gonna edit your video for you. So for that, OpusClip is kind of worthless without paying for it, and 15 bucks a month, I don't know if it's really that worth it. I'm gonna put it behind HeyGen, because it doesn't really do what it promises to do on the free tier, which is kind of weird. Up next, we have Perplexity. Perplexity is a really cool AI where you can ask it anything, and it actually goes to Google and finds reasonable sources to provide you your answer. So its answers are usually up to date, and it doesn't hallucinate as much. So you can ask the weather, what is the weather in Chicago, and it'll create graphs for you, which is really freaking neat. So as mentioned before, it created this graph of Chicago's weather, and it's interactable, which is really cool, and it also gives you sources and all that kind of stuff. Really cool, and it's free for the most part. So with the free plan, you get unlimited quick searches, you get 3 pro searches per day, which is okay, that's fine. You get a really quick model that's just optimized for speed, so it doesn't spend forever waiting to give you answers, and you can create a profile to personalize your answers. When you pay for professional, you can now choose what model is going to generate your response, which is really helpful. On top of that, you can send in files to have it analyze it, which is also really helpful, and you get $5 a month in API credits, which it's interesting. I do appreciate it. However, I don't know if 20 bucks a month is worth it. Like I said, you can run a really, really good model better than ChatGPT 01 on your PC for free. I think Perplexity is a phenomenal resource for research because it gives you resources and the different sources that it looked at when it did a Google search for you. And you can also make it search YouTube content as well, which is also very handy. So for that, I'm going to put it in A tier up front. Up next, I actually want to look at Scira. I think that's a good follow-up to Perplexity. So Scira.app is a open source version of Perplexity. It used to be called Mini Perplex, but they probably got in trouble, so they renamed it to Scira. You can have it look up things from X or your different code or even YouTube and different academic papers and research. And you can have it generate the same responses that Perplexity would, but completely free. Not only that, if you're interested in it, you can also download the source code from GitHub. So you can integrate this into your very own app if you wanted to. So for that, Scira is just a little bit better than what I would say Perplexity is. I'll just put it in A tier. A tier is fine. Up next, we have Sora. Sora is a complex video generator from ChatGPT in which they announced it quite a while ago, but it just now became available to the public. A cool feature that it has now is that you can have a sequence of clips lined out for it that you want it to generate, and it'll create the next clip in the sequence with inspiration of the last one. So you can now create multiple different scenes in the same place. You can basically make a movie of someone talking, and then you can have it generate the talking from the side, and then you can have the talking with the other person, and it'll all be in the same room and all cohesive. Let's see if I can find the pricing for this. So this is only available if you have ChatGPT Plus or ChatGPT Pro. This is not too great. You will not catch me paying for this. So for that, Sora will go right behind ChatGPT. Up next, we have Suno AI. So Suno's actually been around for a decent amount of time. It's an AI generator that generates music for you. It can do some pretty insane stuff. However, if you're an artist wanting to use this to upload to Spotify and stuff like that, it doesn't generate very unique content. So you can't really make any avant-garde music unless you're doing some of the editing yourself. It knows the generic definition for what genre of song that it wants to make, and it makes a generic song. If you don't like a specific section of the song, you can even say, I don't like the bridge, can you make it into something else? And it'll redo the bridge for you and create the same song, but swap the bridge out, and it sounds really good and cohesive. Not to mention, all this stuff is copyright free, so you can use this as backing tracks of your YouTube videos and any other content that you wish. The pricing is honestly pretty damn good. Every single day you can generate 10 songs. Then if you want 500 songs monthly, you can pay $10 a month. In addition to that, you get access to their latest models, which I wish that they would give you at least some limited access to their advanced models in the free version, but that's whatever. And the pricing for this really isn't too bad. If you're a company looking to hire someone to make music for a commercial, you're looking at spending $5,000 for a sync license. You don't even own that song. You're basically just renting the song from a publisher for you to use in a commercial, and you have to pay royalties on that. So really $30 a month even is not bad at all. On top of that, if you're a student, you get a discounted rate of $5 a month, and your first month is free. So check it out. Decide what you want to do. I would have to say Suno, honestly, because it's so unique and it's good at what it does, and the free tier is pretty generous, I'll have to put this in the S tier behind ElevenLabs. Up next, we have LM Studio. LM Studio is this cool little software that you can download onto your computer, and you can run different language models locally on your PC. I like it because it's entirely free and it's very hassle-free. You can download any model that you want that's on Hugging Face and run it on your PC like magic. 5 minutes. So that's what I'm using to run DeepSeek R1 Distill on my own PC. If you go to the Discover tab, you can see all these different language models that you can download onto your PC, and they all do very unique things. And all of this is completely free because this now uses your hardware and your PC to generate the responses, and you're not sending it to a cloud where a company's charging you money per request. So for that, I'm gonna have to say LM Studio is S tier. Might even put it behind Google LM. Up next, we have Ollama. Ollama is similar to LM Studio, but is a little bit harder to use if you're not familiar with the terminal. So when you download Ollama, you won't get a graphical user interface. It's all inside your terminal. They have all these different models for you to choose from. DeepSeek R1 is already on here, which is phenomenal. And it just goes on and on and on. And you can be very specific of which model that you want to choose from each model, but you do run it in your terminal, which is a little bit less convenient for starters. However, it is completely free. Let's not discount that. But because it's a little bit less convenient, I'm going to have to put it right behind our LM Studio. Up next, we have Surfer SEO, and you already know how I feel about SEO products. So it's a content optimization platform, yada yada. Let's look at the pricing. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I will not be buying this. Surfer just so happened to be a little bit worse than Outranking. Actually, Outranking has some messed up pricing tiers, so I'm going to put this a little bit ahead, just to give it credit. Up next, we have Jasper. Jasper lets you build and customize AI apps and make a business out of it. Let's see their pricing. Okay, so they have a 7-day free trial, which is not that long. You only get one user, you get one brand voice, you get access to Jasper chat, yada yada. $39 a month per seat. So for every single user, you can add a seat for $39, which is kind of steep. If you're not making money, this is not worth it. So basically it does a lot of the marketing stuff for you, guide you in the right direction of how to sell a product and how to market it better, kind of give you a little facelift if you need it. But I just don't see this being useful for a lot of people starting out. So for $39 a month, I don't know if I would recommend this to anybody. You should do a lot of this yourself, and I can't see AI doing much more than the basic grunt work at the beginning. I'm gonna put this in the D tier ahead of the SEO stuff because I think Jasper might be a little bit more useful. Up next, we have ManyChat. ManyChat is actually really fun. So when you see people on Instagram that say, type this word in the comments and I'll DM you, this is what they're using. It's gonna scan your post for specific keywords and it'll automatically DM people on your behalf with a link to some place. And it's been shown that marketing within DMs is higher converting than stories or posts. So this is a very good tool to know about. Let's look at the pricing. So to get started, it's entirely free and you get 1,000 contacts for free. So this already gives you access to Facebook Messenger and Instagram DMs, which is very convenient. And that's where I see most people actually use this. But if you upgrade to the Pro and Elite, you get SMS text messaging, which is kind of huge, and also email. 1,000 contacts is pretty generous. They don't even make you put in a credit card. So for that, I'm gonna have to say that ManyChat, that's A tier. but where? I'm gonna put it behind Make. Up next, we have Podium. So Podium is an AI employee that can do stuff for you. So we can schedule meetings, all that kind of stuff, and you can put it on your website and it'll talk to your consumers to convert them. So here they're promising it converts 30% more leads 24/7, and I can't continue past this screen without signing in. But it's interesting that it is an AI marketer, it's an AI salesperson, concierge, scheduler, all this stuff, which is kind of crazy. What is the pricing like though? Jeez, oh Pete. This is nuts. So I'm sure this is worth it to some people, but for me, it's kind of out of pocket. Dare I say, if you're not Bezos, you shouldn't even attempt this. Just for the starting pack, it's $400 per month. Per month. A car payment. Even more, a mortgage payment. I'm gonna have to say Podium is a little bit out of my league. However, I do think it has some really good potential. I wouldn't know because, I couldn't see the demo. It wouldn't even let me give it a free trial. So for that, I'm gonna put it at least above Jasper. I'm gonna put it above Jasper. Yeah, fuck it. Last but not least, we have Zapier. So Zapier is the OG of the automation industry, in which Make.com came after Zapier. So with that being said, it has a little bit of a brand for it, so it's a little bit more pricey. You can see that the professional tier immediately is $20 a month, and you get far less capabilities with the free tier. This one does give you unlimited zaps, but they only let you have 2-step zaps. So you can only have 2 different nodes inside your zap, and that's it. You can't expand it any further. With Make, you can only have 1,000 executions on the free tier, but you can build an entire tree to have this one program do an incredible thing. I do think that the professional tier is a little bit better, hot take. So even though it is $5 more than Make, I do think Zapier has a little bit more connections as well, especially when you link it with Webflow and all that kind of stuff. It has all the capabilities that you would ever need and all the different integrations in all your social media platforms. So for that, I'm gonna put Zapier just above Make. Actually, I'm gonna bring both of these down to B tier, because the reason being is that, keep in mind, these are one small portion of how an app works. You still need to pay to develop the front end of the app, and you still need to get customers and clients and get your sales team going. This is only one expense that you need to have in order to make a working software. But the only reason why you have this expense is because you don't want to code it. So I guess you can make a minimal viable product using these automation services and then code it later. However, you are going to be paying a lot up front to get these MVPs on the road. That's it. That's my tier list. I do think that these ones in the S tier are very much worth trying, especially because most of them are free, or they give you a generous free trial. Then working along here, if you want to get into video editing, I would suggest CapCut if you want to use an AI tool for that. Like I said before, I would personally use DaVinci Resolve and learn that skill yourself. And ManyChat is really good for marketing if you want to get into that. Zapier and Make, good for automation if you want to do no code. However, with AI being so good at coding anyways, you can at least attempt it for free. And the rest of this stuff is kind of just If you like this content, please like and subscribe. I hope this helped someone out. If you want to learn how you can use some of these things, I have some videos I've made in the past. Feel free to check those out. Thank you so much.